Well, we're back at Africa Down Under. It's the middle of the second day, and I'm joined by one of our newest sponsors, because one of the newest companies on the scene, Harena Resources Managing Director Joe Belladonna. Joe, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Dom.
Joe, when we've spoken in the past, you're associated with the West Australian nickel story, Western Areas, which is successfully offloaded in the last couple of years. But now you're in Madagascar, you're in rare earths. I've got to start by asking, what attracted you to Madagascar?
Madagascar's actually got a really rich mining history over many, many years. So that's part of being involved in a well-established mining jurisdiction. Secondly, it's got a stable jurisdiction. There's presidential elections that occur, so there's a democracy there. French-speaking, French laws, really well-established community and lots of really high-quality mining operations. And Batavi, as an example, which is a large joint venture nickel mine. Rio's got a large ilmenite mine there. So there's a well-established mining industry, and we're seeing lots of juniors such as Harena really entering that market now, and it's showing that it's got real good potential.
Yeah, you're right, there's a number of juniors entering that space, but your project is quite unique because it's rare earths, and the entire investment world is still getting its head around rare earths. What have you made and what attracted you to the specifics of this project?
Yeah, definitely. Rare earths is one of those really emerging, future-facing commodities. It's really exciting to get involved in something that's really starting to emerge now. There's a lot of detail inside rare earths. 17 elements make up a rare earth deposit. Not all of them are valuable, so you want to make sure that your rare earths are the valuable rare earths, because as we know, they're not overly rare, but it's rare that people make money out of them, and that's going to be Harena's difference. Lots of valuable rare earths going into heavy magnets, the neodymium magnets versus the ferrite magnets. Really good demand for those going forward. Wind turbines, the motors of electric vehicles, anywhere that you've got a high-end application for magnets, you're going to see these neodymium magnets in really, really high demand. So outlook for that particular product is really, really strong, and that's what really got me interested in the sector. And then having an ionic clay hosted deposit is really, really exciting, because I really think, personally, for me, the ionic clays is really where you want to be operating in this space, because it brings a good suite of elements with you into those deposits.
The companies are very new. In fact, you haven't listed yet. Have you got plans to IPO this company, and what does that timeline look like?
Yeah, plans for IPO are really well advanced at the moment. We're going through the process of compliance with the ASX, submitting our in-principle applications, and those types of work streams are really happening right now, which is keeping us up at night. But later this year, we would hope to be in a position to be launching our prospectus and getting our IPO onto that market. If we could do that by the end of this year, that would be really, really amazing. Get ourselves funded, gets ourselves down that line of production really, really quickly, because Harena's not an exploration story, as you know. Harena's actually a development story. We've got a large resource, 600 million tonnes of material at around 900 ppms. So we've got a really large resource there, and we want to get this thing into development and production as soon as we can. So IPO, let's go.
What have you learned? We mentioned at the top that you're formerly an executive with Western Areas. What have you learned from that experience in the nickel market about the future-facing metals in particular?
Yeah, really interesting question. The future-facing metals, and we have a bit of a catch cry at Harena that we're powering the future, given that the magnets are what's driving the motors. So we have that sort of catch cry. What we are seeing is, and across all of the commodities that do have that future-facing aspect to them, is that we're getting more and more demand coming through. Things like electric vehicles that 5 years ago were sort of something that the rich people drove. Driving in here today, electric vehicles are all over the place. They're over all demographics. So that actual draw of those new world materials, those new energy materials, is really starting to get hot and liven up. Seeing that through the offtake partnerships that are being presented through different, not only nickel and rare earths and lithium, but seeing those offtake partnerships come together with downstream users and battery manufacturers and car manufacturers just shows you that we're actually here and it's happening now. So if you've got a development ready resource, it's time to get them into production, because the demand's going to be there for sure.
That's great to hear, and it's great to have Harena on board here at Africa Down Under. Joe, hope you have a good rest of the conference, and thanks for coming in today.
Thanks, Tom.